Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about scientific elite. Like in finance, there is also 1% of those who are actually having the lion's share of citations in science. So let's begin. In one of my videos from last week, I was talking about how people who are the most powerful in science, who are getting the best funds, who are having lead positions, are actually deciding what scientific inquiry would be about, meaning that they are in powerful position to decide what to do, who has the access to research, and also who can publish. So today I'm going to talk about a Nature piece about scientific elite, which is 1% of scientists who have the highest citation scores. What is citation score? Citation score actually shows how important one publication is based on the number of citations in other scientific papers in many very important decisions about someone's career, because funders and universities and boards are actually deciding upon someone's promotion or tenure or research or grant access based on citation scores. Matthias Nielsen and Peter Andersen, one from University of Copenhagen, another from Aarhus University, actually performed research on 118 different scientific fields, analyzing a amount of publication never analyzed before, in order to find out what are the citation index top scientists, and they created an algorithm that actually used everything which is in Web of Science, which is one of the greatest database in the world. They actually made algorithm to classify all people who have more than 5 publications, meaning those who are not just students who just graduated. And they basically find out that there is elite of elite in the scientific world, meaning that 1% of people who are active scientists are having more than 21% of all publication scores. And it is important to note here that just in 5 years, between 2015 and 2020, when they actually framed their inclusion criteria from all the papers they compared, the percentage of all citations which are attributed to that 1% elite of elite in scientific field, all scientific fields, actually increased from 40% to 21%, which is for 5 years really massive increase. Another ripple effect, that for example, if 2 or more top scientists with big names in their fields join forces, they also publish together, and their increase in citation score is even higher. What is one of interesting finding of this paper is that the top of the top is not anymore in US, because they find out that in the last 5 years actually the prevalence of US laboratories in the highest citation scores actually dropped, and now the top of that 1% of most cited scientists are in Western Europe, namely in Netherlands, in Belgium, Switzerland and UK. And it was really intriguing because I know quite a landscape in Netherlands. There is one interesting factor which comes to my mind. For example, Elsevier, one of the biggest publishing houses with a number of very highly cited journals. For example, if you work with any of Netherlands university, you can publish for free, because they have specific contracts between company Elsevier and universities from Netherlands. And people who are out of the Netherlands have to pay for that. Nielsen and Andersen actually stated that this result of their research, published this year, actually illustrate that this is elite of elite. Because if you look to the overall people who were included in the studies, they included only those who have more than 5 publications, meaning that those that have less than 5 publications, let's say just graduated students or PhD students or master students who actually have 1 or 2 or 3 publications, were excluded, when actually we know that people who have just a small number of publications in the whole database, including 5 publications, are actually 70% of that sample. So this is a little bit distorting the picture, but the authors actually stated that they had to do that limitation on 5 publications and more because of the quality of data they analyzed with their algorithm. It is sort of funny conclusions that they made, at least I found it funny. They say that this 1% elite of elite, having the 21 or more % of publication citations, are actually a risk factor which can lead to the output that those most cited scientists are actually deciding upon what would be the subject of research. So I can only laugh on that because this is already happening. But everybody knows that the biggest names in science are leads of not only one, but maybe collaborative laboratories, that they are deciding not only about the topic of research, but also who has access to what. For example, if you're a researcher in physics and in astronomy, we all know that colliders and that equipment is highly expensive, and only a handful of scientists have access to that kind of machinery. And also in laboratories in astronomy, they have very expensive telescopes, and only a handful of scientists has access to that. So no expensive telescope, no high quality research in astronomy. This is really straightforward. Another thing is that I think that those elite of elite, maybe they're not doing that willingly, but the matter of things are now that they are actually making decisions about what to research, who has access to what, who is having grants, who can publish and who cannot. And actually, there was a comment from Ludo Woltmann from University of Leiden, who actually said that this particular paper is not demonstrating that these 1% of elite scientists are having lion's share of citations, that they also have grants. But I would say that you don't have to show that. This is a straightforward connection between the two, because those who are most cited have the senior positions, they're having lead positions, they're publishing a lot. Collaborative projects actually give them even amplified effect, because if 2 or more leading scientists join forces, they publish together, they have multiple PhD students and all their teams, and their publication output is massive. Another thing which worries me is that if everyone is judged whether he's worth his progress in career or tenure or having grant is based on someone's citation score, then this is a massive inequality already. And I think, at least in Netherlands, many institutions realize that, as well as the dangers of paid publication system. And actually, Woltmann says that several institutions try and experimenting with systems which are not solely related to citation score as the main output marker of someone's scientific success. Not only that there is a massive inequality of access to research and access to grants, which are connected to the publications, actually form a vicious circle, and only massive change of decision-making process, and what is the most important thing in finding out whether someone is a successful researcher or not will remain something very problematic until they change that system. I would conclude that this dominance in citation score field is actually symptomatic of domination also in access to grants, access to equipment, and access to research, which is all connected and it doesn't function one without the other. So if universities change that, sticking to citation scores as the only valid marker whether someone is successful in research or not, the situation will stay the same. So let's hope that those who are making those decisions would realize that we have elite and elite, and that young researchers and women and other people who are considered to be minority has no chance